Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you audible. Chanchal, please
Okay, just
start
give me
your
one
brief.
minute.
Oh, okay, sir, okay.
Hello, everyone. I had like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Kartikeya Kumar Kedanti, sir. He is the Assistant Vice President, K3 Consultant HR Analyst, Cybersecurity Advisor, Leadership Coach, Guest Faculty for Institutions, Security Advisor internationally, Mentor, Soft Skill Trainer, Master in Conducting Counseling. The session now, the today's topic for webinar in Forensic in Nursing. So now please, sir, proceed the session. Thank you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you audible. Please start, sir.
Thank you so much. So, very good afternoon to one and all, and I'm really sorry if there was any delay from my side, and due to some poor lighting, I'm just putting myself off from the webcam. So, thank you so much for having me today in this particular discussion today. So, we are going to have a small interaction about forensic nursing. But before that, let me quickly inform or introduce myself. I'm currently working as Assistant Vice President of K3 Consultants, and as well, I'm working as a cybersecurity advisor, wherein I take care of, I do advise the companies on various lines of cyber and even on forensic analysis. So this we have been doing for the last 7 years across Pan India and Germany. So I'm very happy to get connected here today. And first of all, let me thanks the organizers, Rakesh and team for inviting me here. Thank you very much, Rakesh. So uh, I would like to make this the next half an hour, 40 minutes a bit interactive. So I would like to ask you people, what do you mean by forensic and what do you understand by nursing? Anyone can unmute and then answer, or you can drop your answers on a chat window. What according to you is forensic, or what according to you is nursing? Any answer is okay. I'm fine with it. I just need something to be spoken out. That's it. Because I don't want myself to be continuously speaking like a robot. Okay. Let us first of all identify, why do you use forensic? Where do you use forensic? Any clue? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you audible.
Okay, because I'm not getting any answers from the people. I thought, do they have the option to unmute and speak, or if anyone would like to answer, you can raise the hand. The organizers will unmute. So I just wanted to understand, what do you know about forensic, or what do you mean by forensic, or what do you mean by nursing? There are two terms here. Or what do you understand by forensic analysis? Okay, fine. Here is the definition for you. Forensic is not about dead people, rather it's all about law. Many of us have a wrong perception. See, I have been to various crime locations. I've seen the people over there, and then I have in fact, we had a lot of chance to interact with the officers, and along with the clues team, and also look at the crime scene and identify, or try to understand what exactly must have happened at the crime scene where some incidents has happened, and then what are the evidences we can collect. So, moreover, if something has happened, forensic is something which, I mean, many people have the perception, if something is coming from the forensic, someone is representing a forensic department, people feel like, okay, these people would deal with a post-mortem report or an autopsy or something like that. So it's not about that. Forensic is nothing but it will collect all the information in terms of evidences, information at the location, and almost, I mean, all the supporting details about whichever it is, like a physical or even technical, whatever it is possible, and whatever we submit in front of the law, because law requires that information which is very, very, very clear in terms of evidences, in terms of on the spot information, etc., whatever you wanted to call. So forensic people primarily, they try to collect all these information, document it, draft it, and as well do analysis and analytics to understand what has happened, and also what could be the future threat. Forensic analysis has a lot of scope in the future. Of course, even now it is existing. If someone is seriously interested, now this is all about forensic. When we come back to nursing, nursing is generally what we feel like. Nursing is nothing but a nurse is one who we see in the hospital, and she takes care of the patients who are admitted in the hospital. They'll put a bandage, they'll do the dressing, they will give the medicine, they'll take care of the wards. See, that's a different nursing altogether. But forensic nursing is something where, see, you can see the image. It is a combination of police and nursing. What is that they exactly do? It's not about general nursing. So if you go to a forensic nurse and say, you know what, I have a small injury, can you please take care of it? She will not get a first aid kit and she will say, okay, show me the injury. She will start interrogating what has happened, why it has happened, where it has happened. You'll feel like, did I come to a nurse or to a police? It means they are the people who are specially trained to submit such information when and then it is needed. It can be to the court, it can be anywhere, whenever it is needed, in such a way that people will feel like, okay, this is such a strong information, and this information will help us to identify what exactly has happened. So, for example, if a particular, I mean, like, I'll show you, I mean, instead of telling, I'll show you what are the things they will do. Now, we have seen forensic, we have seen nursing. Now, what is forensic science? The application of scientific methods and techniques that matters under investigation by a court of law. What does a court need? Court need nothing but they just wanted to know. If, say, for example, yesterday there is an incident that has happened in some XYZ location, and some sort of harassment has been done. A girl has been harassed and something happened there. Now, what does the court need? Court doesn't just ask for what is that what exactly has happened and what do you have. They'll ask you 100 questions. They'll say, where is the evidence? What are the witnesses? They're the normal things. Number two, biologically, what is that you have in hand to prove that something has happened? How is that we can identify? We can identify a lot of information in forensic. If someone has spit at the location of incidents, I mean, crime scene, even with those marks, we can identify whose spit is that. Or we can take a DNA sample. Or by looking at the blood stains, it can be fresh or it can be dried out. Using the blood stains also, we can identify to whom that blood belongs to, along with the footprints, along whatever the fingerprints, whatever the scope of evidence we can find in that location. Every single piece of location. You know what I do very frequently? I keep posting. I have a group of about 200 students. I keep posting all this information to all the students. I give them some games. I give them a crime scene and I'll ask to identify, okay, what do you know about this? What do you understand from this crime scene? And if you're the forensic expert, what are the things you'll collect and what analysis will you do about this particular incidents? And I'll give them some time to identify all those things. So forensic science, it had a different name, but now it has a different name. The same old traditional approach has been technologically improvised, and this technologically improved forensic science has been helping in investigating the cases very quicker, very faster, very brilliantly, and moreover, it is helping the courts to have a very strong evidence. You have seen the example of Delhi, and you have seen the example of Hyderabad case. Whatever the incidents have happened, it is not just that they have been caught. How is that someone can be confirmed that these people have done the crime? There are a lot of things. I don't know how many of you have understood. Know about this. I have virtually seen a dead body which was rotten badly after 1 week of the incidents. When the incident happened after 1 week, we have seen the body which was badly rotten. It's like, the smell you can't even imagine. I know a few of you must be understanding it. But now the challenge is, how many people can dare to, actually step there and see very closely, observe it very closely, rather work on that body and identify whose body is that. That's where the forensic department plays a major role. That's a kind of chemical knowledge. The chemistry, the biology, and the technology. These three play a major role in identifying whatever happens. Let us come back to nursing. As we just discussed, the profession or practice of providing care for the sick and infirm. This is what we generally mean by nurse. So Just another word to this something I really liked a lot. Just another word to describe a person strong enough to tolerate everything and soft enough to understand everyone. Absolutely, it's right. A nurse is another mother. She actually can take care of the patient like a baby or a child. She knows how to feed in time in need of, I mean, in case of any requirement. She knows how to feed the food. She knows how to handle the patient. The kind of respect that we should give to a nurse is not so less. It is almost equal to a mother. Because when the doctor says, okay, give this medicine, treat the patient, it's not the doctor who is going to look at the patient or take care of the patient. The nurse is the one who is going to physically take care of the patient, physically being her presence in front of the patient and helping the patient to get recovered very quickly. So when we come to forensic nursing, we have different definitions. The one on the right side in the blue, you find out forensic nursing is a practice of nursing globally when health and legal systems intersect. Now I'm having a nurse who can, you know, who is very good and very much knowledgeable in terms of health aspects. I'm absolutely okay with it. She's fine. But now we need someone who is also legally very knowledgeable. Those nurses who work under forensic, they'll also have the idea of IPC, Indian Penal Code. They know how a legal proceeding will happen and the application of forensic healthcare in the scientific investigation of trauma or death related to abuse, violence, criminal activity, liability, and accidents. Anything, it can be an abuse. We have been seeing a lot of abusive cases, eve teasing cases, and harassment of child women. We have done a lot of sessions in the last 4 months. We have done over 30 sessions on women and girl child welfare along with our legal advisors. We had some cases also where a young girl who was at school, she has been bullied first and then she has been harassed, and then that case came for investigation, and that was done by one of the teacher from the same institution. So it can be violence, it can be criminal activity, anything to that matter. So whatever happens, this nurse who comes to forensic, she'll have the knowledge about the health and also the knowledge of the legal aspect. Say, for example, we'll see some more examples going forward. See, this is what it is. Recognize the signs of violence, control the low self-esteem, depression. They are trained in such a way that if you talk to them for the first 2-3 minutes, they can identify what exactly has happened. You may try to lie. You don't want to speak out what has happened, but seriously telling you, they can identify, looking at your body structure, looking at the injuries on the body, looking at the way you speak, listening to the tone you use. Everything will help them to understand, okay, there is something that seriously has happened. The major agenda is control the violence. How much we can control. We can see some more here. We have got, before we go with some of the examples, we have different roles in forensic nursing. So the first one is a clinical forensic nursing. I'm very much glad to say that I've been a part of a couple of people from this particular. See, when you look at all these things, forensic nurse investigator, sexual assault nursing examiner, forensic psychiatric nurse, legal nurse consultants. This is the team with whom we had a very detailed discussion few months back. They belong to Mumbai, and there was an issue regarding which we had to discuss with them. Nurse attorney and nurse coroner. Nursing is never ever a small job, and it's almost like, I don't know how many of you have just give me 1 minute, guys. Let me see if I can help you with a use case in this in between. Right. So we have some use cases. I'll also help you to understand what are the different use cases we have. Okay. Before we go with that, clinical forensic, where they primarily focus on what are the clinical aspects that are involved. Say, for example, if a student has been harassed and this student has been harassed in the school, I have a sample case. Let me help you to understand this better. There was a girl who was 15 years old. This we have got to know very recently. Okay, she is from a high school. They have a different community of people and they belong to that. Okay, And her mother, she is like a very partying person. She has a different community of people. She goes out on parties. She doesn't care much about the daughter, and she was always roaming here and down. And she always used to go with the friends on night parties. And when we look at her father, what happened with her father? Okay, and even father was not also staying with the same girl. So what happens is almost in the entire day she was not there with these two. Okay, now the case what we got here is very simple. The third one, sexual assault nursing. She has been sexually abused and assaulted by her mother's boyfriend. See, her mother used to go for parties. She used to have different relations. And one day, when these two were not at home, her mother's boyfriend, he came home, and you know, she was actually being abused by her. I mean, by this fellow in a very, very, very bad way. And she has been threatened. She was, threatened in such a way like whatever he does, if he used to say like, if you inform this to your parents, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And finally, she became a pregnant. That was the most unbearable thing. Okay, and just all these things came in place, and she then she was matured enough, she is not that small enough. So then she somehow managed to get to know about a confidential clinic where she got a service from one of the nurse who is a clinical expert and a legal expert. And she went there and she said, this is my problem, but she could not speak out completely whatever has happened. So in this case, what would have happened? Can we suspect her to be a victim of a rape? And or can we say that she has developed a relationship and somehow forcibly, and then she was into this particular pregnancy? She could not immediately come to a conclusion. The nurse had a lot of challenge. So, and now what has happened? This nurse who was actually dealing with this particular girl, little girl, okay, so she said, don't bother about anything. We are going to take care of the things. So she examined the body, she examined the girl, she took some samples, and she went to the nearest police in a confidential way. She tried to explain them what has happened. Okay. And then, okay, she I mean, like, this is a very different thing. Let me tell you what we do. It is like an undercover operation. You know what she did? She spoke with the police. She informed the police that her mother should not get separated from this girl. So instead of separating the mother, you do something where the guy who is belonging to her mother will get separated and her mother will focus on this girl. So we know what she has done, and we know what police have done there. And finally, she was completely be able to, take care of the mother. I mean, the mother realized what has happened, and she broke the relationship with that particular fellow. And she then came back and took care of this girl. But they did not come out of the pregnancy because they said the situation was so bad. That means why I'm saying all these examples or why I took this is these type of nurses are trained in such a way that they know what should be collected. I mean, what information to be collected from the victim, what sort of questions to be asked to the victim. Say, for example, if I go ahead straight away and ask you, did something happen to you yesterday? You'll say no. When we ask something straight away, I mean, this is how we do an investigation or an inquiry. We get a lot of cybercrime cases. So when I look at it, I cannot straight away go and ask, did you do the crime? They'll say no. No, we have to probe in such a way. We have to ask the questions in such a way, like a friend, looking at the personality or looking at the incident, and try to ensure the questions what we ask will automatically give out the answer from their end without their knowledge. So that's very, very important. So what is that these nurses have been doing in the society? The prime role is, what are the serious issues we have in society today? To control all these nurses are there. Number one, violence in healthcare is a critical issue. I don't know how many of you accept it. Healthcare issues in terms of violence are increasing day by day, but this violence is preventable, undoubtedly. So in this particular aspect, nurses have a major role in reducing the negative consequences of violence. And all those victims of this particular violence have a right to comprehensive health care. There are two things. The victim will have an option, and also the perpetrators. If, for example, some XYZ is the victim, they have every right to get everything done confidentially. They cannot reveal everything. They need not reveal everything. But unfortunate thing is, nowadays the situations are changing. things that are supposed to be confidential, they are becoming public for the sort of anything. So there are a lot of cases which just got closed in undercover. So comprehensive forensic nursing requires evidence-based practices. We need evidence. How is that you can collect an evidence? Let us see some more. So what is that these people are going to do? Number one, they identify the issues that have legal impact on society. Say, it need not be only to a girl. Bullying acts, see, there are a lot of cases that happens in schools. Bullying. So if a boy is being bullied by their seniors, or if a boy is being bullied by another boy, so that leads to a fight at times. They beat each other, they scratch each other, and they come back to home and say, no, ma, nothing, I fell down. Now, this is when they need a forensic nurse. The moment the forensic nurse look at the boy, she can easily identify what sort of injuries are there. That's the kind of training they would have got. And document injuries and pull communities together to address issues such as domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse. Undoubtedly, they'll just pull out all the community and they'll just put it in front of the law, looking at the injuries. You know, I'm not sure how many of you have seen. I'll try to share in the next, whenever there is an opportunity, the way they document the complete forensic report, this nursing team, whenever there is an incident that occurs, when the court studies that particular report, it clearly explains, okay, this is what happened. But whatever the child says may be wrong. The child cannot speak truth that my friend has beaten me, they have bullied me. But here, yes, looking at the type of injuries. See, very simple, my dear friends. If a girl is being powerfully handled, like if someone holds her shoulder very tightly, or a boy, if someone holds a boy very tightly on the shoulder or at the neck or anywhere, you know, they can be covered with a dress initially. But when the real inquiry happens, they might say like, no, I've just pressed my hand like this. No, that's not the way. The nurse can identify this is something which was done by someone. The kind of pressure that was applied and the kind of severity is involved can easily be explained here. So work with grieving family members when death comes unexpectedly. Say, for example, if some girl has been done something, or if some incident happens with a boy, or some loss has happened to the family because of some violence or something, this nursing team goes with the family, they sit with them, and they just stay with them for some time to understand, to help them in understanding what has happened and how it can be controlled in the future. And they will be a support for that family. And they'll also contribute to disaster planning and response. Recently, I've been there in Bihar in a place called Madhubani. I was traveling to Madhubani from Patna. When I looked at all the locations, I was going with my team, and when I was just looking out at the flooded areas, which were literally on the roads, I've seen one of the hospital point, like a point where the treatments have been given to the people who are on the roads. Literally, trust me, friends, almost at a stretch of 10 to 15 kilometers, I've seen the entire village is sitting on the highways. This is both sides of the highways are covered with animals, tents, the people on the roads, and till the eyesight, I could see only water. That was the level of flood we had. So when I saw them, I saw these nurses there. There was one senior nurse who told, like, sir, there are certain incidents that happened even post-flood. I mean, like, you don't know how the incidents will happen, but a normal nurse cannot just identify. I mean, she can just identify an injury, but these trained nurses are something beyond. So there are 4 roles and responsibilities: disaster, violence, abuse, and crime. So comprehensive care and service to victims. These 2 are very mandate. I mean, like, these are the 2 things what they do. In terms of disaster, in terms of violence, if some abuse activity happens, and if crime happens, this is what they are going to do. Whenever there is a forensic report to be designed, usually what people do, or usually what people think, is very, very clear. Okay. See, many people ask, what exactly forensic nurse do? I mean, they just perform the duties that are very specialized, more than a standard nurse. Okay, as I initially said, they'll take care of everything. They treat the victim in such a way that you don't even feel like you're answering some officer. See, what are the specializations you need, or what are the skills you need to be a forensic nurse? Number 1, to interview the victim. You should be very, very, very apt to know what sort of questions to be asked. We have seen in a lot of movies, the way people question in the court to a victim really makes the victim to feel low, and they no wonder even if they commit a suicide. So what sort of questions are to be there? What should we ask? What are the things to be spoken of? When I find a boy who is being badly bullied by a group of boys, is there a way that I should go straight away and say, who bullied you? What did they do? Where and all they scratched you? No, this is not the way how I should question. Rather, I advise that don't even ask them anything. Rather, look at the body structure and just try to identify, and then get to a picture by yourself first, and then try to inquire it in such a way. So this is a one first skill we need for a forensic nurse: how to interview the victim. What are the questions to be asked when you are trying to ask a victim? Number two, to interview the suspected perpetrator. If someone is being suspected, if you go and say, did you do this? He will say, no. No, you did this. No. Then where is the way to question? This is becoming a police interrogation. That's not the way. So what is it we are supposed to do? So how we do is very important. If you know that, if you suspect that this guy could be one of the possible fellow, then put him into a way where he can come into your shoes, and then your questions will automatically get answers from his side, and he will only accept if something is there. As well, the same with the convicted, right? And last one, to interview the family, friends, and all those who may add to the investigation. Now you are seeing one of the top case in Bollywood, and this particular top case has been interrogated in such a way that you don't know what exactly is happening behind the screen, what sort of investigation is happening. But we can easily understand, okay, what sort of questions must have been put in front of all those suspicious people, wherein today a huge network of people are coming out. If I just go and straight away ask a boy that, did you do this? He will say no. Not only a boy, any fellow who has done a crime, they will say, no, I did not do that. I don't know. Now, who is going to answer? There is a way to question. So it's not a police interrogation, but there is a way to investigate the things. Who knows? Your family will have some information. Your friends will give some information. And all those, like your neighbors. So recently we had a example. There was a case where a girl has been harassed. And when we verified some information, we suspected a few people. And when we inquired them, they said, no, we don't know anything. Then we had to take out the mobile data. We had to take the location data. Then we had to take the message, WhatsApp. Even if your WhatsApp messages are deleted, we can still recover. Now, how nurses are going to do this technically? The same way. But the only thing is, looking at the structure of the body or looking at the personality of the victim, they can easily identify and they know what should be presented in front of the law in such a respectable way where the victim gets a proper judgment. And that's very important in fact. Now, evidence is nothing but which can be submitted in the form of a document, testimony, or object. As I said, if I give you a crime scene location, if a person fell down or if a person has been murdered or if a person met with an accident and died on the spot, that's a crime scene. Now, you don't find anything around. Say that it was a hit and run case. Now, the body has been sent to the postmortem. The forensic nursing team have come. They have looked at the body. They tried some, they just tried to examine the body very closely. No, they have collected some evidence or information about it. Not at the crime scene location. I'm not talking about the crime scene location. I'm talking about the place where the body has been laid down or the lab where the body will be tested. So they must have sent it for postmortem. Even when they have sent it for postmortem, who are going to do this? So this nursing team will come into the picture. They'll examine the body. They'll look at the entire injuries. They'll examine and they'll study and understand, okay, this could be the possible way how the incident has happened. Whether he was hit by someone or whether he went and hit something so that the other person ran away. And the kind of severity of injuries, what are there on the body, that also makes a big difference. So what evidences we need? Say, for example, if a girl has been raped and left over at a location or she has been moved away from there. Now, what evidence is even a single piece of cloth, single piece of hair, jewelry, items in pockets? See, the following: physical evidence and biological evidence. Even from the dirt, what you find at the scene of every offense, at the scene of offense, whatever you find at that particular scene of offense will also be helpful in understanding who must have done the crime. Say, for example, if some fellow has stepped in there, he has committed the crime and he ran away. Now, what all you know is a footprint that is available at that particular location of that particular person. It can be a shoe, it can be a chappal, it can be a slipper. Now, using that, they can easily identify who has done this. Number two, saliva. As I said, if while performing some offense, they must have spit somewhere. They must have got their, some hair fell down. Anything could have happened from the person who is doing the crime. Even that will help us to identify. Semen, if this is very majorly considered in terms of rape cases. Insects, yeah, it is also possible. Dried or fresh blood. Say even if the murder has happened 4 days ago, the blood is dried out. It's very hard now, but still the traces can be collected, and from those traces we can come out with a conclusion that whose blood group is that. I mean, to whom this blood belongs to. So fabric, if some pullover is happening, if someone is forcibly tried and if their shirts or dresses being torn away, so even with that particular fabric we'll be able to identify. Now, what are the major goals we have in forensic nursing? Number one, to establish a leadership role in healthcare and policy making. These people, I should say, they are the lawmakers. I mean, they are the people who follow the law along with the background of medicine, where they know how to care the people in both the ways, not just in a medical way or not just in a law way. They know how to protect a person using the medicine as well as using the law. They know how to care a person. So such leaders are more needed to influence healthcare social policy, healthcare legalization, and nursing practice acts, etc. There are a lot of acts. See, healthcare social policy is already existing. Legalization is existing. All these things are still existing. I'll give you an example. When I've been there to Madhubani, see, the reason I'll tell you why I've been there to Madhubani. We've been there because we adopted a baby girl. So someone who is abandoned, and we applied for an adoption, and this girl has been given after 2.5 years to us, and we adopted finally from the government. When I visited the home, I could find some more children with, scratches, small injuries. And when I spoke with the health officer, they said, like, we have sent it to the special team who identified what has happened to the babies. So they are not just normal injuries. They're something different. And now I don't know how many of you know, so many girl children especially are being left out on the roads. And that too, there are instances where I have physically seen these babies have been eaten away or dragged away by dogs and rats. Now, if that is the case, how to identify what instance has happened? What are the clues? So, a lot of policies are being made, but how many are in place, we have to see. To educate the public about health law issues. Public need to pay interest, especially towards forensic nursing. See, currently I'm training a batch on crime analysis and forensic analysis. There is a batch of 57 people. I'm taking their entire semester classes now. So I'm training them, I'm helping them to understand, and they're doing some sessions also online. So to educate the public about nurse attorneys, and then to educate the nurse about legal system, it is very, very, very important to understand what is a legal system. What is there in this? I mean, like, why should I know about a legal system unless or until you know? Okay, you cannot ask anyone for anything. Now, who are nurse attorneys? Is it just a nurse? No, they are the individuals who are specially licensed as both lawyers and nurses. Okay, they are in the areas of industries, academia, administrative law, litigation issues, risk management, patient safety, regulatory compliance. Even in a hospital, you will have this. Even in a hospital, you will find these nurses. Right? So, to represent the public, client advocate. If something happens, there should be someone who will be represented, right? So, when we look at some of the examples, 3 to 10 million children witnessed domestic violence in their homes. Domestic violence has always been very, very, very serious, and people have been literally affected by this. And I don't know how many of you know this, even in our country, these cases are rapidly growing. Who will speak out if there is a domestic violence? What are the ways how I can identify? Because if something happens at house, okay, if something happens at house in terms of domestic violence, how is that we can find out? Is a question here. Because people will not speak out that this has happened. I'm really, something is happening. What are the different types of violences usually that can happen in this, where forensic people will be? So where there are a lot of issues or there are a lot of challenges is number one, bullying. As I said, bullying of friends is a domestic violence or a kind of violence. Okay, because bullying refers to basically it is a repeated victimization. It can be physical, it can be emotional, anything. So bullying is something which is done by one person to another person or even to a group. In colleges, it called as a ragging, right? And number two, community violence, children maltreatment, okay, and then school violence, and then a lot of things, teen dating violence. Let me honestly tell you, there are a lot of cases through online these days. As a cyber expert, we have advised many youngsters, do not run around, especially in the last 5 months of this pandemic. There are a lot of dating websites that have opened up where people started paying for them and then started getting into trouble. And there are people who really committed suicides just because something happened over a chat and over the call. So do not try to unnecessarily go and get into all this heck. Very good afternoon, Dr. Sushila Srivastavaji. And then, you know,
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, madam. I'm sorry, I just observed the chat window just now.
Okay.
Thank you. So we have
That's
different
nice.
types of. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So we have less than 1 minute now. So what is it we are going to do here is one thing, my dear friends. I will just be in touch with this particular team. I'm planning to have a detailed session on forensic nursing with various methodologies and the way how they do an investigation. Probably I'll see if we can plan another session very soon where I can explain you all to understand. Well, thank you so much for rejoining. I hope I can continue. So we have a few categories in terms of forensic nurses, which I wanted to tell by this. With this, I'll end. So the first category of people are called correctional nursing specialists. So they offer secure and high quality healthcare to the people who are held by the courts, including those who are in jails or juveniles are everywhere. So these correctional nursing professionals, they will tend to to the ill with these in these facilities. They conduct routine physical tests and they just take care of the medication. I mean, there are people who will be with the chronic needs. If you might have got some major problems, so these correctional nursing specialists who are a part of this forensic nursing will be taking care of this. Number two are called forensic clinical nurse specialists. These people will be usually masters or they'll have a PhD rather in this forensic nursing, and they're advanced in terms of training, like they're trained in a very advanced way to work as professionals in terms of various forensic settings, like as in physicians, instructors, analysts, consultants, and administrators. So they'll be working in emergency rooms and facilities, especially for those who are sexually assaulted. So they'll conduct the tests, psychological medical care units, and also with the teams for death investigation. So if some incident happened to a girl, so these people will be specially addressing those people, the girl, and these are not normal nurses. These are the special category nurses who are very much advanced and being very much trained on this. And the third category we see are what we call as a forensic nurse investigators. Now, who are these investigators? What do they do? We call them as forensic nurse inspectors also. So what do? They discover the circumstances surrounding an accident or violent death. If someone is badly beaten to death, or if a woman committed a suicide at home, okay, hanged till death, they'll examine whether it is a suicide or has someone harassed and then murdered her. So these are called as a forensic nurse inspectors. So they usually work in a medical examiner's or coroner's office, inspect the body, study the crime scene, assistance in autopsies. Usually autopsies are not conducted in every instance, but when there is an autopsy to be done, yeah, they will be a part of it and gather the medical and social history details of the deceased on the deceased to determine the exact cause of the death. As I just said, if a woman has committed a suicide, no, they cannot just, police cannot just straight away close the case as a suicide case. Maybe because of the family issues, someone must have pressured her to die, or someone must have force her to get into that situation to hang herself, or someone would have killed and then shown it in such a way that she has died. So who's going to answer this? A normal person or who did the crime will not answer. Police cannot straight away say that. The clues team will give the clues, and the forensic nursing team will actually go there. And these are the people who are allowed to do the investigations. And the fourth category of people in this, that the FPNs, what called forensic psychiatric nurses, they especially deal with the people who are mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally disordered victims. We have a lot of such cases where people, especially women and girls, they just fell into such a world where they don't even know what happened and they don't know who they are. I've been repeatedly listening to such cases that if a lady who was mentally retarded or specially enabled is also being done this. I'm sorry to say that recently there was a case from Kerala that a lady who was a mid-aged, okay, she got corona and she's supposed to be admitted in the hospital, and the ambulance came to pick them, and this lady was taken all alone by the ambulance fellow. And that fellow, he has committed a rape on this particular corona girl. I mean, people are really going so bad.
Excuse me, sir.
So these people will, yes.
The screen is not visible actually.
Sorry.
So screen is not visible.
No, this is not there in the PowerPoint. So I'm just trying to explain.
Okay,
It's
sir.
not there on
Thank
the
you.
PowerPoint. Right. So these people, the forensic psychiatric nurses, they deal with the mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally disordered victims, because they need to be treated in such a very careful way that they can only examine and treat the criminal defendants as well as assistant colleagues who have witnessed the abuse. They can easily get to know from these people, and they need a lot of patience. The next one we have is legal nurse consultants. Legal nurse consultants who are, as I said, nurse as well as into legal position. So they will help the lawyers deal with the civil cases where law and medicine overlap. And this particular team of nurses will sit with the lawyers. I mean, they will be in the court presence. So they will be with the law advocates, and they'll help them to understand the case in a medical knowledge, medical knowledge, not in just way. So clinical experience is required in terms of identifying and examining the case. So for a lawyer, they need a person who is specialized in nursing or examining all these things. So a legal nurse will be appointed. Many of the professional organizations have got these ones. And the last one is the same, sexual assault nurse examiners. So these are qualified highly, and they identify and analyze the injuries suffered by the patient. They locate and gather, gather and package forensic evidence related to the crime and provide this information or recommendations about the continued treatment to the victim. That means they will easily understand, because the girl cannot explain what has happened. But looking at the injuries and the kind of symptoms that she has and the kind of evidences that have been collected, this particular team can easily help the court to understand what has happened, and they should be punished. So we have a lot more procedures and methods that needs to be followed and understood, how exactly these investigations and how exactly this analysis would be conducted, and how exactly it will be interpreted, how the law will consider all this information that are being actually submitted by this particular team. Okay, so there are a lot of things that I'll just try to see if quickly in less than a minute. Let me see if I can help you to understand some more information on this. I mean, there are different ways. I said it's a very lengthy topic, I should say, rather, because when I talk about every single heading here, whatever we discussed till now, there are more than, that requires at least next 2-3 hours to speak about it. Now, what are the different methods of collecting an evidence? This is the last point I have to speak out. What are the different methods we have for collecting any evidence by any forensic nurse? Number one, combing. What is combing? A clean comb or a brush is used to recover evidence in a body hair. So the collection of device is packaged with the collected evidence. Whenever you are going to a scene of offense, whenever the information to be collected, they have to ensure every time they use a neat, clean, new comb or a brush, which is used to recover the body I mean, the evidences in the body here. Say, for example, if an incident has happened at the head, how is that you can collect the evidence over the head? If you put your finger, it might get vanished. So you need to have a clean brush or a comb to collect the samples or evidence from there. Number two is a clipping. So this is used for tracing the evidence that may be obtained by clipping the nails using clean clippers or scissors. Say, for example, if the girl has died, she has been buried. So in order to identify what has happened, many of us must be knowing even the dust particles, what you collect from the nails will help us to identify the DNA of a person. So clipping tools are the second thing. Scrapping, okay, which is under the fingernails. So evidence debris is scrapped with a small spatula type tool onto a clean collection surface such as a paper. So I'll be just having a transparent paper, which will be useful. And even, okay, if it is under the fingernails, as I just said now, even that can be collected. The edge of the paper can be moved very professionally, and the kind of dust particle that you can collect will help us to understand what has happened. Lifting is the next one. You know, a rolled over item, like for example, if someone has been clearly packed and buried or kept in a hole or something, or in a small box, so they can be lifted and they can be identified. See, a tape is firmly padded and rolled over an item to lift up any trace. See, what is that we are going to do? For example, if a murder has happened, you'll find a different tape which looks like a normal cellophane tape or kind of. Now, this can be rolled over that particular body in whatever the condition the body is. With that particular tape, when you take it out, you'll be able to see the clues that are found on that particular body location. So we have two more things called picking and vacuuming. So all these things, see, we have more than 10 to 15 methods of collecting the evidence, and all these evidences can be collected. Okay, but only challenge is how professionally are you doing it, and who are all the people who should be involved into this. So I think I should say that Rakesh, if you have an option to conduct another session very soon, what I can do is I can take a 1 hour session next time, and I can help to understand about what are the different patterns of injuries that we can easily identify. I mean, a forensic nurse can identify how to get to know the patterns of various injuries that are there on the body, how they can identify something using the blood and urine of a person, and in terms of sexual assault in terms of children, and what should be done after the examination. We have a huge topic that should be conducted, but the only thing I can tell you, if you are getting into a forensic nursing, even if you are as a normal nurse today, but if you get into forensic nursing, the opportunities are very high, and the industry is looking for such people where they can really help the police, doctors, and everyone in terms of understanding the victims very, very, very clearly, because normal nursing can never be same as the forensic nursing. So this is a very small piece of information I thought of sharing, and thanks to Rakesh and team for giving you this opportunity. And one last point we have here is, whenever you're documenting some evidence, there are certain points that need to be observed, like what is the date and time of incident that has happened, and the relationship with the other people about the victim, and if any weapons are used, what are they, and if any other activities have been done, and is she allergic to anything, are there any physical injuries, etc., etc., etc. So thank you very much, Rakesh and the team. So I believe that's all from my end for now, but for more details and with more in detail session, I wish I could do some more very soon, where people can sit for about 2 hours if you are interested.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Participants, if you have any questions, unmute yourself and ask, sir.
Rakesh, is this session recorded?
Yes, sir. Session recorded.
Okay, once this is done, kindly share me the
Yes, sir. This is upward.
video.
Yes, sir. Savita.
Looks
Savita,
like
mute yourself. Maybe your mic is not connected. Akanksha, please continue your vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very grateful to you, sir, for giving such a wonderful webinar on forensic nursing. Thank you, sir, for giving your precious time and enhancing our knowledge. I hope we will continue in future with more such wonderful webinars too. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Akanksha. Thanks for your wonderful message, and thanks to everyone, every single participant here, and also thanks to Rakesh again. So if anyone has anything to, if you cannot ask the questions, I've dropped in my email address here, and you can, actually send in your questions to that email where I can help you, because I'm writing some of the articles on this presently. So if somebody is seriously interested, yes, we can work jointly on this, and we can see if we can publish some journals also. Right. So my contact details are there. Anyone can reach me out on WhatsApp or email. So thank you so much, Rakesh.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, and all participants. And as soon as possible, we'll conduct your second webinar, sir.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Take care. Take care of yourself, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.